Well, good afternoon, church family. This is Pastor Corey. It is Wednesday afternoon, and I'm sending this message out because I needed to share with you a message that I received that asked our church some questions that I need to pass on to you. You may remember, if you were here, that back in July, even before my first Sunday, I shared another video message where we were talking about what our plan was, I guess, for gathering together as a church in light of just the health crisis with COVID. And so the church board and I had met previous to that video that I sent out and had that discussion of what we needed to do and what that would look like for us at New Horizons. And so I shared the outcome of that conversation that we were encouraging strongly that the individuals from our church, if they are medically able, of course, to wear a face covering, specifically at two times. That when social distancing can't be maintained, like when you're coming into the sanctuary or leaving the sanctuary, because of course we're standing there and we're visiting and we're walking past each other, and that also to have a face covering on when we're singing, because of the reality of when we're singing, we are of course expelling more of our breath out into the air of the sanctuary in which we're all seated. We understood that at times that there would be times during the sermon. I guess I'm trying to say that individuals would want to be able to take the mask off, and that's understandable. And when we're sitting there, socially distanced and just listening to the sermon, we understood, which is why we only really encourage the two times during the when we can't social distance, when we're closer than 6 feet, and when we're singing, and and so we've done that. And I received this message that I've shared with our church board, and now I need to share with you as our church family. And an individual from our church is asking a question. And I wanted to read part of her letter to you. She says, among other things, she says, I have at least a few friends who would likely come to church if everyone or nearly everyone were wearing masks. They are stuck at home watching worship videos and have been for 6 months. There are three families who have asked me specifically about the Nazarene Church and about masks. I am pleading, I guess, wondering if the church body would be, I think here, if more from the church body would be willing to wear masks during the service on Sundays, so that I might have a place to invite my friends to worship, immunocompromised friends, friends with diabetes or other factors that put them at risk, friends who, for whatever reasons, are more concerned about COVID than the average youper. I am fully aware that wearing masks infringes on the legitimate rights of individual church members. I can vouch for the fact that wearing a mask is an inconvenience because I've been doing it myself. I can tell you firsthand that it's very awkward to cry while wearing a mask, and that singing is difficult, and fellowship feels very distant. And yet, I'm aching for my friends. Uh, this letter is from someone who wants to invite and encourage others who have actually asked about our church, and if at least most of us wear a face covering when we're close together, so that they could attend. And she's asking if more of us would be willing to do that. And so I'm passing that on to you. Our continued encouragement is, especially during those two times, during when we can't be social distanced and during singing, especially, if more of us would be willing to do that. She acknowledges that we all have to make decisions on that, and we acknowledge that as a church. And so that's what I'm asking you to do. I asked our church board when I shared this message with them. I just asked them to pray and ask what God would have them do. It's not a question of political opinion. It's not a question of whether or not we're choosing to live in fear. It is a question of somebody from our church saying, would you be willing to do this so that more people could join us and worship with us? What would God have you do? As your pastor, that's the question I'm asking you to ask God. I have prayed long and hard before recording this message to you, and am praying for you that God would help you to know what God would have you do and how best we can show love for each other in the church and show love for those that aren't yet a part of our church so that they might also be able to worship with us. And so we have, as we have every Sunday, masks that are available if you forget or need one. We have a fresh batch of cloth masks. We have the paper masks if you just need a one because you forgot one at home. Those will be continue to be available should you need them. But my question, I guess, for today is, what would God have you to do? I'm praying ahead for Sunday. I know that God has great things in store for us, and just praying that God would prepare us to receive that. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And I'm just know that I'm praying for you. And we'll see you. If I don't talk to you before, we'll see you on Sunday. God bless you.